Alright, so as promised, we're going to continue with a couple of trouble tickets that we have left over. So it's going to be Wi-Fi and some weird Gmail login issue. We're going to fix that. Now don't forget, we're going to have more Office 365 videos. It's just that I'm taking a brief break from those, so we're just going to work on some simple trouble tickets, which should be really fun and educational. By the way, thank you so much for people who became members as well, and all the people that support me so far. Your beautiful comments are more than welcome. Oh my God, I can't even explain it. It's really, really motivating and it just feels good. Thank you so much. Before we begin, please take a moment to say hi, hello, or present. It's sort of like a roll call in the class. That way I know you're present and you're interested in this type of content in the comments below. Thank you so much, and let's get back to the video. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Irvin, also known as Kobu Man. Now, we're going to continue our ticketing system. I should say we're going to continue working tickets. Basically, that's what we're doing. So sort of like, you know, if you're doing help desk, that's the point of these ticketing systems. It kind of gives you an idea of how to go about doing help desk. And here's our couple of tickets, or here are, I should say, a couple of tickets that are left over from the last session. The last session, what did we talk about last session? It's been a couple of days. What did I talk about? VPN. Was it VPN? Yeah, it was free VPN. So you haven't seen that, check it out. I'll put a link like right up here in the right corner. You guys know when that pops up. So if you want to check it out. I just want to mention real quick too, there's a really good video for people who are doing help desk that is related on how to spot a bad hard drive. And it's a really good example that I've made, I want to say a couple of months ago. And I highly suggest for people who are going to do help desk or just tech support, I suppose, in general, to see that video, because it shows you how a bad hard drive looks like, and it shows you like those errors and all of that stuff. It's a really cool video. I'll also put a link to come up here. So if you want to bookmark it, that might be a good idea if you're, you know, into help desk. Okay, no more rambling. Here it is. First ticket we're gonna tackle. We're gonna tackle this one. It says Wi-Fi is not gigabit speed. So this is a user that knows what gigabit speed is. And it says here, I bought a gigabit Wi-Fi adapter, but my speed is the same as the old Wi-Fi adapter. Help me set up gigabit Wi-Fi, please. So this is somebody who's, you know, who's into computers and they want faster. They know what they're talking about, which is not very common, to be honest, when it comes to helping users. So it's a little bit refreshing to see, because you don't have to really explain too technical stuff about them when they ask you, if they ask you how you fixed it, you know. So I would either call him if there was a phone number to contact, or I would send an email to him, or over chat, over IM, instant messenger, or whatever it is that your company has access to. And I would say something like this, and for that I'm just going to use this reply to customer box. I'm going to say, hello, this is Irvin with PC support. I have your ticket about slow Wi-Fi. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And next thing I'm going to say, may I take control of your computer to have a look. But in reality, what we really want to do is get into their router to make these type of changes, because it's the router, not your modem, unless your modem is your router too. But it's the router that needs to be set up properly, because he bought a Wi-Fi adapter, right? He thought that if he just buys a, you know, gigabit Wi-Fi adapter, his internet will suddenly be a lot faster over Wi-Fi, and that's not the case, because you have to go inside a router and make changes. Okay, and then, you know, you can say, what is your computer name or IP, and the reason for that, so that way you can remote into their computer. And so you can do it a couple of different ways. I have a video on this too, using this system called Dameware. It's for remote desktop control. It gives me full control of the computer, and I have also video on that. I'm sorry. I guess this is the third video I'm plugging here. I'm sorry, guys, but it's related. So I'm going to put another pop-up, I guess, if you want to check that out. But that's how you do it. That's how you would basically take control of their computer. And you can also send them a link that would also allow you to, at some point, take control of their computer. Anyways, you need to get to this point where you have access to their computer, and then inherently you will have access to their router because their router will be connected on their local network. And we'll get to that here very, very shortly. Okay, so I'm going to just save this and just kind of wait for his reply or just talk to him, right? So we got to this point where we have the computer name and we're now logged in. We're past that, and now we're going to get into the part where we actually access the router itself. And let me show you that. I'm just going to flip to the next screen. So we are now connected to their computer, and here's an example of a router that I went ahead and set up just for this, for this purpose. And the typical location for a router is right up here. It's 192.168.1.1, and then you basically just log into it, right? It's simple as this. When you go in, it's going to ask you to log in, and you just log in, which I've already done. But it's basically just a login screen. And if you don't have that information, you can ask them. So that way because you got to access this. And what we're looking for is obviously wireless settings. So once we select wireless here in this example, we're going to look for where his wireless settings are, in the sense that what is available. And here we go. We got a couple of different things, and it's already at the tab that we need, which is at wireless. And we got two different options. So luckily, his router here supports gigabit. And how do I know this? Is because it does have 5 gigahertz network here. So that means that it's a gigabit capable Wi-Fi. And in order to use that, we have to enable it, right? So just briefly to show you here that 2.4 gigahertz is the older type of network, which is just, I want to say, I think up to 100 megabits. Not even that. I think it's even slower than that in most cases, depending on the distance and this and that. But nonetheless, these are the settings we have. And we've noticed here right away that under 5 gigahertz that it's disabled. So we're just going to select edit, and we're going to just enable it. Now, chances are this wouldn't be filled out or anything like that, so you would have to fill it all out. And you can differentiate both of those by just naming the network SSID, or what's also known as a broadcast SSID, meaning that you are broadcasting this name as a network that's available to connect to, right? And then just label it something that identifies it as gigabit. And you can say gigabit or whatever. In this case, it just says it's turbo, and we're going to leave it at that. And we're just going to select apply. Well, we're gonna broadcast the SSID. Why not? You don't have to, but this is what we're going to do here. Just to, why not? Because Wi-Fi's are pretty secure. We can see that we know that the name is set up correctly, which it can be anything, and we can see that there is a password. Not necessarily a super secure password, but it's not a big deal. It's just your home Wi-Fi, right? If it was something else, you want to make it more complicated. Mixed mode here means that it supports multiple type of networks, which wireless N and wireless A network modes. And then we got security mode, which here is just a type of password that you type in, type of encryption that you use, if you will. And here it's just set up to WPA2 personal, which is fine for home network. If it was enterprise, you want to, if it's a business, you'd set it to enterprise. Or whatever it is, we just want to make sure that it's enabled. And for a home user like this, this will be perfectly fine. And then we can let them know that, hey, so we can talk to the user and say, hey, you know how your normal Wi-Fi is called police scan? Well, that's your regular speed, because it's, you can tell him this, because it's running a 2.4 gigahertz network, and he'll understand. He or she will understand, because they already know that they want this type of speed. They want gigahertz, so they'll understand. And then you say, well, by the way, your 5 gigahertz network was not enabled, and that's your gigabit. And for that, we have it named Turbo. It's the same name, but we just added Turbo on it. So if you want that fast speed, you want to connect to that one. And we're just going to click OK. And you can, I don't know, sometimes you reboot the router, or you don't have to. In this case, it didn't. And it should be working just fine. All right, so going back to the ticket. And by the way, I made a little mistake here. I didn't assign the ticket to myself. Very important. If you want to get credit for your work, you want to assign the ticket to yourself. And now we can test it with him and see if it's working fine. And that's fine. We're just going to add our internal note. We're going to say, what can we say here? And you can do this however you want, as long as the point comes across, I suppose. I'm going to say activated. Sure. Activated 5GHZ Wi-Fi tested with user, and it's working fine. Okay. So yeah, if their router doesn't support 5 gigahertz, then it doesn't matter that they bought a gigabit Wi-Fi adapter that they just plug into their USB, most likely. And that's another thing to actually think about. If he plugs this into a USB like 2.0, which is the black one, it's not going to be gigabit speeds. I don't know exactly what the speed of those is. I want to say like 20 megabits per second. It's not that fast. So you want to at least use USB 3.0, which is the blue one, and that one is a lot faster. I don't know the exact speeds, but it's gonna be fast, and he's gonna be happy because, I mean, how much speed do you really need for internet? It's gonna be, I don't know, it might run at 200 megabits, 300. Anyways, it's Wi-Fi, so I mean that's what you get. And then of course, if you have 3.1, you have to look at these statistics of Wi-Fi adapter, But if it's like a one that you insert into your PCI Express slot, then it should be running at whatever the max speed is. So anyways, so that's the quick one, and we're going to go to the other one. Let me just close this ticket here. I'm going to just mark it completed. Okay, so here's our next one, which is my Gmail is not working. The reason I have this one in here because it has a unique error, and it is this. Basically, it's temporary error 500. And it says, we're sorry, but your account is temporarily unavailable. We apologize for the inconvenience. And, this happens sometimes where it's just like, well, it doesn't make sense. Everything works usually. Usually everything works. Every website works. Just suddenly, Gmail is not working. And, some businesses use Gmail. Like my current job actually uses Gmail. But the reason for this error, let me get back to it, is not what you might think. If you just, normally you would analyze this as somebody who's got some experience, working on computers, troubleshooting. You're looking at this for what it is. And I always teach this. Just look at the error for what they are. And this one is so misleading. Is another reason why I wanted to have it in a video. And it says, we're sorry, but your account is temporarily unavailable. Temporarily unavailable. So what does that tell me? To me, that means like that my account got locked out, right? My Gmail account is locked out for whatever reason might be. And you can assume, like the first thing you would assume, somebody's calling you, you're talking to them, and it's, you're assuming like, okay, well, maybe they tried their password too many times and it failed, right? But that's not the case actually. So one of the solutions that might come up, oh, I almost forgot to assign it to myself again. One of the solutions that might come up is to delete cookies. Google cookies and cache and cache, I don't know. What do you guys say? Cache or catch? I don't know anymore. Doesn't matter. You guys know what I'm talking about. And then you can do this by deleting specific cookies. And here is, for example, here is Chrome. Like most people will be using Chrome, hopefully with Gmail, because Gmail is mostly designed. Any Google product is mostly designed to work with Google. So I highly recommend that. That's the first step. And then you can go into settings, right? You can go to settings, and it's really simple to find cookies. You just type in cookies. I mean, there are gazillion different options in here. So I just type it in here in search. It will come up. And here it is. What we want to do here is we can clear browsing data, but that's not what we want. I would really want to specifically delete cookies for Google. So we're going to select cookies and other site data here. And then if you look down, if you scroll down here, you can see that there's an option here that says see all cookies and site data. And this is what we want. And by the way, I don't know if you've noticed that everything is here is highlighted with our keyword that we put in. You can do this with everything that you're browsing on the internet. Just do Control F and it's going to highlight like this. It's actually a very easy way to find something real quick in a wall of text, if you will. So we're going to select see all cookies and site data. And then we want only download, or we only need to delete Google cookies, right? So we're just going to type in Google. And here they are. They're all here, and we can certainly just select remove all shown or just delete them individually. And you would think that this would actually fix it, and believe it or not, it actually doesn't. And you can see that there is an accounts here, Google's, right? There's 5 cookies for the local accounts. So if we delete this, then you would think, okay, well, that was the account, and here's another one, my account. There's another thing. Is we're just going to remove all of them, right? That's all. But that all you can see that only Google cookies got removed, and that's fine. That's what we want, because all these other websites, they're working fine. They're working fine, so we don't need to delete all of these. You can if you really want to, but you don't. We're specifically talking about Google product, which is Gmail, so we're going to concentrate on that. All right. So another thing that you want to check if you see a weird issue like this, not just this specific error, is to make sure that the web browser is updated. So if you click on the little 3 dots here and just go to help and about, and this same thing is done with you see this one is actually needs to be updated. So that's this could be a problem as well. Same thing is done in Firefox and maybe in IE, but IE is no longer supported. So Chrome, or not Chrome, I should say, what's the other one? Edge. I'm actually using Edge for this ticketing system. And you want to make sure that it's updated, right? This is how you resolve a lot of these weird website issues too, that you just can't figure out. Like, everybody else can get to it, it works fine, but then suddenly there's an issue. You want to make sure that it's updated, just like we did here, and then you can just relaunch and this and that. Now, this doesn't actually work to fix this issue. In my experience, temporarily unavailable, this did not fix an issue in my experience. And the way you would actually have to do it is to reset Chrome entirely. So the way you do it is just go to your PC and then go to C drive. Look for the users folder here, users login ID. In this case, it's Koboman, right? We're going to select this one here, and then we're going to go to the app data, and then we're going to go to local, and then we're going to look for Google. Here's a Google folder, and then we're going to look for Chrome. So since we're going to reset the whole thing, we're just going to rename this Google Old. Never delete this folder. Never ever delete these folders. None. Not just Chrome. None of them. Just in case. And now, once I open Chrome, you'll see a new Chrome will show up. New folder in Chrome will show up. There it is. You see how it came up? Now it's completely reset, and this will fix the problem. All right, guys. Well, that's how you fix this one. Let me just note it real quick. And the reason I didn't go through the other thing, you would basically do the same thing as we did with the first one when it comes to talking to the customer, making sure you get their computer name so that way you can access it. All of that is the same. I just wanted to save a little bit of time here and just going straight into this one. And we're just going to say, we're going to assume that we've gotten all the information that we should have, like we did in the previous one. I'm just going to say resolve issue by Chrome reset. Okay, closed. Alright guys, that wraps up this session. I'm going to be making more of these. Be sure to let me know in the comments that you like this type of stuff, just like usual, if you don't mind. It really helps me stay motivated. And the next video, I'm going to be continuing our Office 365 sessions. So it's going to be a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then I'm just going to keep it going like this for a while and see how it goes. I see some people requesting very specific requests, and I'll certainly try to find time to make those specifically for you. But, you know, the way I go about requests is that if I have like handful of people requesting the same type of content, then I'm gonna make it. Well, I'm gonna make it as soon as possible. But if I have like one person requesting something, and that is like outside of this scope, meaning like tech support, help desk, you know, if it's something that's more to like towards like something that branches out, and it could be same thing like IT, but like branches out of this type of shtick, if you will, then it may take longer for me to get around to making those. And I apologize for that. But you know, time is of the essence after all. And for people that are currently watching, as far as I can tell, they want this type of content. So and so I'm trying to prioritize those things. But you know, I can't just spend time on making something that's totally out of the niche for this channel, that may be more advanced or this and that. And again, I still make those videos, and probably will at some point. But for now, I'm just gonna do this here because it's helping people, and that's what matters. All right, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.